Hello guys, we're just continuing off Great Ace Attorney Chronicles from where I was last. So we're going to start the adventure of the Unbreakable Spectral Brand.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern's shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
Time for General 6:37 AM. On board, steamship Buria.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality. This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Who are you? And what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait!
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This is murder. And it can be locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you? And where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Sholmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
Sherlock Sholmes. Oh, my head is throbbing. What's going on? Someone's not right here. There's trouble in there. I can't move. What the? I'm in handcuffs. So wake up now, I need to drag you out the wardrobe. I didn't even believe how you cannot wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. You. Ha. You found me then. Da. We found you. And now you must pay, criminal. How long are you hiding in that tiny wardroom, huh? Sorry. Sorry. Now you've been found, it's time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is. No, I tell you everything. There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Isn't that... Why do you do it? Why do you take his life? Mr. Soto. Wait, what did you just say? Take his life. Where is he? Where's Kazuma? Ha! You pretend to not know? You are a wolf in the sheep's pelt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses. What? Kazuma-sama's body was discovered on the door. Here, in this very cabin. I was brought to shove from the inside. His body? Please. You don't try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? But he can't be. These handcuffs. Surely you don't think I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please. No. No. Kazuma. It was just 2 short weeks ago. You sure about this? We won't get in trouble? Haha. You only find if I'm being a stowaway. Besides, how else could you come England with me to study? It's really something else when they brought you your luggage here in here at Helena. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your travelling case on the floor. I thought I was going to die. I still can't quite believe that. I really did think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look. Hey, honestly I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. It's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. If you could confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. Ugh, I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgetting of a stowaway. They're a steady bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant, Mikotoba, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point, surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that'll make her guilty by association. It's just that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyways, it's about time that the steward is supposed to come in and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. Anyway, the compared to hiding inside my trunk case will be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. I'll tell you what, why don't you write keep out or something around this piece of paper? Then I can stick it on the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. We've only been at sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? We're supposed to be going on this adventure in England together. We'll leave you with Nick's boat. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer. No, I'm not a murderer. That you said before, you said you would admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on the ship, but murdering my best friend? Who else could have done it? Admit the truth. Just that was fun. Please, tell me what happened. I ain't know. Very well. There's something I would like to ask of you too. Those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare's getting worse by the minute. That's all that I can do is try and find out what really happened. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream. And these handcuffs, they think I do it? They think I'm Kazuma's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a portal window, and the bolt on the door cannot be opened from the outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these 4 walls. What? Or to put another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What happened exactly? I still got to deny the charge, even despite the circumstances. This is that sign, you have to tell me. Cause of death is still undetermined. We don't know how he died. Ship's doctor examined the body, but of course he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn more until next bed has been called to consult the next port of call. Presuming that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then. That's true, yes. Can you tell me what actually happened? I don't understand it. Why would anybody want to kill Kazuma? Or is that something you know the answer to better than anyone else? Please. Whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes I was, but... he would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day for so far in this voyage. But this morning, he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead once he started around his cabin door? I wonder. I knocked, but there was no reply. I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside, there was Kazuma-san, collapsed on the floor. The white tape there now shows exactly where he was found, I supposed. No idea anything bad had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somewhere. I wish it wasn't in the case, but that's just very hard to believe. It's all very hard to believe for me too, trust me. No, I've told you everything that I know, so it's my turn to ask you a question. It's alright. My head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing, like anything. Why are you even on board this ship, Naruhodo-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, but I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I have no idea. How could you have occupied Kazuma-san's cabin for so long without noticing? That would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma-san invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? I got circus stream blanks to experiment song on my ear England with you. It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of the incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself. Well, yes, he did say that. But I don't think he was serious. You have a talent for it. I can assure you of that. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London's at the spearhead of cultural development, the centre of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. Sato. Kazuma-sama is always saying the same thing. They want to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. Look in his eyes then. It was darker than I've ever seen it before. Sato-san? I was hoping we kept it a secret from you. I stored away on the ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, except he was trying to protect me to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. Well, perfect, in fact. Well, perfect, in fact. If you're not the culprit, then tell me, what happened last night here in this cabin? Well, thing is, I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep. Yeah, well, yes. So deep, like, you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed? Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable, really. I do, but it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. For some reason, my head's still throbbing, like anything. Really. Something wrong? No, it's... Just forget it. It's a Sato-san, you have to believe me. I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there is no one else who could possibly have done this. Kazuma, I don't understand why. Why did this have to happen? I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry. Kazuma was killed right under my nose here. And I didn't do anything to stop it. Now I'm supposed to just sit around, my hands tied, while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. What do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Kazuma's life, and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry. But you're going to have to excuse me. But yeah. She just flipped us, didn't she? What the? That was a takedown. This was out of what? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry, prove it what? Prove it. Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. How am I supposed to? You've forgotten already? What you achieved just a few weeks ago? Successfully defend yourself in a court of law. Ah, I see. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. So, I have to get Sato-san to believe me. I'll show some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime.
Yes!
Tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes it was. I remember clearly. I thought so because Kazuma was put it in place whenever I went to sleep at night. Just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. Naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah, yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before you opened them. If you were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I can kill Kazuma. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Sato-san. Now, how do you think perhaps you could help me up? Well, in light of the evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating in here at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me. I'm sorry. No. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. What do you think I am, a magician? For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get a work start, son. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh, I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing wrong that might disturb the crime scene. When using your punch tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Well, anyways, I should make a start investigating in the area. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death. That's a very large travelling case, isn't it? Yes. It carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stored away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. Ah yes, I see it says this way up, in Japanese. Which in hindsight I should have realised the foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over, and I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear, being stowed isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a societal takedown. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter? What's that sound? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused, I forget to look around properly. Oh yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard. You... are you, Naruhodo-san? Yeah. Let's look around with this, get a gist. Yes, that's true. My field of vision has been rather small until now. What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glass. One of those things that appears to have broken clean in two. The glass is such a beautiful colour. Looks like a cute little Netsuku fastener from a kimono outfit. I'm sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this from him, would he? And the mark beside it, what is it, I wonder? It has this sort of brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It is the colour of a brick, isn't it? No, I don't see anything of the same colour anywhere else in the cabin. That's Kazuma-san's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yeah, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his sword. I believe I had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him bringing this on his trip. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. Now he's gone. I'm not ready to let his spirit go yet, just yet. The books have fallen over on the shelves. Look, they've all toppled the same way. What's this? A statue of some god of the sea. Oh, he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the soul shelf has been ransacked. Everything went down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-san was doing his morning sword trip. Do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, Naruto-san, in a fit of rage. I wouldn't bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and statue. For the way these things are being thrown about, have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Bura. Essentially a list of requests from the captain and all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking, are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I can't decide. Well, that's one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. When I went out for help, my crewman forced the door open. This bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt, not particularly sturdy. It just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the doors bolted, there would be no way to get in and out of the cabin. That's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The cop would use a needle and thread to draw bulldogs across from the outside of the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I mean, I've read detective stories myself. The doorless cabinet's frame are made of metal, and they sit together perfectly. There'd be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles up and down my spine. Seiki, the Japanese word for justice. Brushstrokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy was always a reflection of his heart. Yet can you relook at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stored away on the ship. How are you going to bring up that up, are you? I can't win. Perhaps I should see what this Russian crewman makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me. What? I was wondering how was it going in the investigation. I mean, grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it's not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking investigator for information about this crime very funny. I see it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. He might have useful information though. I have to keep trying. So last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Niet, of course not. Now back to the corner room and make silent. I say no more to you. Did I hit a nerve? Here for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator, over which fresh air can circulate in the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator is that what is? Looks like it must be connected to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose to allow fresh air in the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. That's true. How so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the sea's rough or something like that. I suppose maybe that's it. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it was written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. And I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final months. Was he? Sorry, partner. I can't read your writing. It's Russian. I don't think that's Japanese nor other than that. What? Then, what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? That's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But, did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susan. I ate it at the table, of course. Which begs the question, when and how the plate ended up on the floor? Kazuma-san didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right, so he didn't touch it. It meant, or more for me. Oh no, does that mean Kazuma-san spent his last night on his earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Ugh, now I suddenly have a guilty conscience, and an achy stomach. There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and the cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it is strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everyone was still. Wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So, then perhaps you're responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama? No. I've investigated really, but I can't find anything. Okay. This is where dear Kazuma-san would have sat whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kazuma. He died. He didn't even make it to his destination. Looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means, what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. Could be a valuable clue. Hiya. That's out of the question. Well, Kazuma-san may have part of this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what's so important? So relevant to the kids. Alright, I won't read it. Kazuma-san, I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the clues more important? Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he... You've noticed the man too, haven't you? No idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious. And tall. Suspiciously tall. Narahara-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no, I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. Something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we must talk with him. I might just imagine all this Susato-san look almost unconscionably excited. By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, if you press X on people on there, yes, I get the gist. Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and I'll see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. So 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that water the entire time, Narahara-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose not. Well, it must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own secret hideout. Trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception. Because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. Just checking around. This is, yes, it's a Belcourt contraption, I think. What do you mean, contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying, like talking about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell calls like this. You shoot and pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That almost sounds magic. Shall we give it a little try? Yes. In the interests of cultural research, obviously. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No, I'm sure it's just everyone's busy, that's all. That ventilation is probably going to be the case. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh, this is a critical point in my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that will be for the best. Greetings, I hope I haven't missed you well. Ah. Ryusuke, is that we doing on Kazuma's decks just now? Ah, I see, fascinating. Sorry, what do you say? Feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. Crystallized. I've been in Afghanistan, I perceive. I've been in Basket, I perceive. Should have returned if I'm not mistaken. Sorry. What? And now, whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you find yourself in the most troubling predicament. Well, that's true at least. But how? How deuced did I know that, perhaps? It was really a most elementary deduction. Hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? Well, of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you haven't fled your native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary. You have at least 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and are travelling in England blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the bear-ribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you end his life too. Yes, I think that summarises the facts beautifully. You want to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Just to be clear, you are talking about me, aren't you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits this bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims, as you know? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution too. It's shameful behaviour by Hana-san. I'm absolutely good. No, listen, this... No way, yeah. He's retarded. Now explain it yourself, tell me everything. This is ridiculous. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. But was I not right? Whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in the most troubling predicament. Do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Ha! There you have it. You see. What do you make of that, Well, to be honest, this ship is en route to England, and I am in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So I'm not really sure you could call it a deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles. You see, I announce my findings with brassy certitude, and more often than not, I'm right. Ha. I don't think you introduce yourself. Ah, my apologies. How reminiscent of me. Sherlock Holmes. Another and the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. Shit, ripoff. So it's really you, the actual Sherlock Holmes. Very same, the imitable, actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Susato-san? Most famous detective in the world? Naruhara-san? Of course I do, there's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? You must ask him what he's deduced. He will have overtook the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Commerce. Great detective. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I see, you're German? Sherlock, was it? No, I have her. I mean hair. Please call me Sholmes. I like this. Read about all my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Rant's magazine full of wonderful short stories and interesting articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue, I've sent it from England especially. Ah yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories. Indeed I am. And you read so many of your own stories that you started thinking you really are a detective. Make no mistake, I'm not the poor, deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward. My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles in the magazine. Your biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy with it. Why, this very moment I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of the cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether or not I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is me to a science, logical reason in its purest form. Science? Really? As you observe her, notices even the more subtle reactions in a subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin. All these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data and the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago, how can he look me in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have a term both for observation of deduction and fail. That's what makes me the one and only Sherlock Holmes. I'm gonna quickly save the game. Kazuma's death. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Haven't managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow, who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-san this morning, I summoned all of the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the central scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective, Sherlock Holmes, was on board. You fucking egotistical prick. And the handcuffs seem to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh, really? Two facts, you say? Mrs. Holmes, tell us, please. What two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah, yes. But first, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. What were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts that I deduced from a mere moment in the glance at the scene of crime were as follows. Number one, the cabin was locked from within. We didn't render to take the culprit out of the question. Number two, the victim was Russian, and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Holmes, what made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. That is a Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In final moments, many find their native tongue filling in their head. This young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered it a guard drop, maybe the name of the killer, a certain Robert Guard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there it is. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Oh, sir, I found you. You're a known Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniform is the traditional dress of the Russian people. I had no idea. You're a fucking idiot. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and a message that I might analyze for possible hidden details. This This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, thank you. A photograph of the crime scene has been entered in the court records. Can I ask you something, Mr. Jones? What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that. Ah yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me? Because do you think? What if that's it? Certainly, if it interests you. How many times I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. Your deduction just now. Can we talk about your deduction before the things you conclude about me, I mean? Ah, now famous, accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part. Ah yes, the more sordid details. It's a fairly complex deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads: Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Kazuma a Russian? It sounds like Mr. Shontai concluded he was Russian because of what Kazuma's have wrote on the floor. It's a simple act of reasoning to realise that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary, one who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you, villain Borishka. No, how could it be? I don't look anything like this man, just look at his face. Well, you are facing revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt to revolutionise your appearance as well. Please. I might add, your name does appear on the ship's passenger list, does not appear in the ice anymore. That's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of the assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower. Ah yes, the journalist clearly didn't review the man and put all those particulars in the article. Indeed, the man is perpetrator of the saw unless he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? What about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? It was quite clear stated here in the article. Bolshevik has recently returned after a period of some subversive activities in war-torn region of Afghanistan, where even is it anyway. It's Afghanistan place. Here, take the pill for yourself. There's little member of this great deduction. Thank you. I told all this interest me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. Yes, sorry about that. And you may find the article on the back page of the interest as well. On the back, test your arrival sometime if the interest takes you, or you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. Suppose it wouldn't hurt you just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Therefore, we started talking. You would examine Kazuma's diary. That's when you. Kazuma. Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment. The desktop of the victim. You see that the victim was engaged in penning some new text. London diary. Kazuma was cute and goes to the trip. Ah, but I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Tragic, and something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not. I know a small mattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Sato-san, aren't you going to throw the detective one of your trademark takedowns? So sorry, Naharu-san, what on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter of hand, namely this tire belonged to the victim, it would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the right? Pray be precise as to the details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. Smart reindeer, boy. Smart. Smattering. Sayonara bonsai mikado nado nado. I trust you're super impressed. But this diary is littered with complicated looking characters which I can read precisely not. Ah. So what was all that showing off before then? If you would be so kind as to remain, I would be happy to read a few, Mr. Shops. I'm much obliged. My dear madam. The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just two short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 AM, I can hear a faint whistling sound. Whistling sound. These are very deep waters, pray go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 AM, what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I never heard that expression before. Ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Yeah, thank you very much. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least. Do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writings in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe, and if I am still too long, I see sickness may take hold. Oh, and I suppose you're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to. Great detectives of a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exhalation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence the truth will become clear soon. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. What? Why? A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Oh, please. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No. There's no point in trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You must be joking. You just said it, only a moment ago. Give me, you are clearly misguided. I would never cost to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know. Not really. So what? What will you look at my knees nailed before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then. This is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Ha 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 ha. Now he's just being plain rude. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humour as his twist of this name. Now, Rohoda-san, what are you just standing there for? We must go investigate the cabin door next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? There's no way out of camp. Kazuma-san has witnessed Diamond's to leave us a clue. You're waiting to give up. You're just going to roll over and accept your fate. As if you give me any choice in the rolling up apart. I think we still have some investigation to finish in here first, don't we? Let us carry on examining what we can find in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me. There's still things I can do to help. I can do to help myself, and I hope to presume to do everything I can to find a way out of this and bring the real culprit to justice. Is that? Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no, it's just that crewman standing by the door now. I can't help feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. Yes, the detective from the previous case. Oh yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Yes, what can I do for you? I recognize that face, but it can't be. Wait. It is. I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think this should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. And these stopped. I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and on board this ship. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board. Perhaps his presence can help me out with this hopeless situation. So what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? For what? My orders were to act as a Soji-san's bodyguard. It was Minister of Justice Joko who was pushed for this overseas studies tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Soji-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How could that even be an impossibility? I'm not sure, but these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Minister Jogi said we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-san was assassinated. Obviously, we couldn't give Soji-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time we've been on board, from morning until night, every day. I never imagined it would happen here, beside his own cabin, not here on the first class deck. I feel miserably at my assignment, and Soji-san is dead as a result. I'm in a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologise. Inspector. So if there's anything else at all I can help with doing, shoot out now. Just say the word. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought you might have thought maybe. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer. Of course not. Would you like to investigate the cabin next door? Yes, so we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you move to even touch the handle of the cabin door. The stronger that I assume there might be surely snap your neck or two. I suppose I'm not just a stowaway now. I think I'm a murderer as well. Would it probably be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm going to need something persuasive. What do you mean? If I had some reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example, if I do everything I could to persuade the captain and allow it, really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how. There would be a way. What? Really? Think of how you try to persuade me of your innocence, Horizon. There isn't a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. Evidence? It's just the same as when you are in the court. You must have done it many times during your trial. Simply select the present problem and choose some evidence. That's what we could use. So evidence that will give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin, is it? Alright, yes. I think I might know what we can use. See if we can.